fundamental. He thinks capitalism is this thing. This is capitalism. It has these characteristics. It involves this thing, and you're trying to sully it. Rather than capitalism is an incredibly complex system that has a variety of gives and takes of regulations and freedoms that vary by state, by time, by individual, by industry. It is not socialism and then here comes the capitalism and the socialism, they're gonna hit each other. That's not how it works at all. It is a bargain. We advantage workers sometimes in some ways. Then we go through eras where we don't see that as much. We can get into why that is, what effect capitalism has on politics that produces that. But it is not just one thing. Everything we have because of capitalism. What? So if we were to analyze post Great Depression, post World War II, the greatest economic expansion the world has ever seen, we got that only because of capitalism? Unfettered, free market, no regulation capitalism, no union movement, no weekend, no nothing. No government, providing programs that allowed people to purchase homes, subsidized. Like it was just capitalism, and now you're trying. It's just so much nonsense. And how are you supposed to actually respond to all of that, and also respond to the question that the guy from the Chamber of Commerce asked? It's a difficult task, Michael.
Yeah, it's an impossible task. I mean, kudos to Anna for going into that den. I never would do it, and it seems in just that one answer, I'll watch a little bit more of it, but that she acquitted herself perfectly. You have to answer these people, but you also have to call them out, not just give them the substance and call them. That's why I glommed onto, hey, that's not being taught. Wasn't taught to me. It's not being taught today.
Yeah.
This construct that they think the world exists in the way we have it, that there's an us and them. No, that's not the case. You learn all about capitalism and other things in school, but you're not ever taught that it's evil. You find it the evils. We don't learn about tax loopholes that early anyway.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's talk about a couple of meta things. There's a lot more to the debate. It's available and you should definitely watch it. One of the reasons I wanted to cover is this. I want to send you to watch the full debate because Anna did do a great job. We knew that she would. She is, however, being criticized for doing it, and I wanted to give her defense of this. So she tweeted earlier today saying, going to be insufferable for a second to make an important point to those who want to accuse me of being some sort of demon for allegedly platforming another demon just by debating Shapiro. I went before a room full of literally 1,000 people who disagree with me. Health industry lobbyists, healthcare companies, oil businessmen, Republican politicians were all there in the audience. No one except one worker at the venue and my husband was on my side, and I went in to debate a guy who is admittedly known as a good debater. I would argue because he understands how to manipulate the format and he comes in with an audience that's gonna like anything he says rather than actually, like people say he has a lot of data. Okay. Does he take the data that's accurate, apply it logically? Anyway, that's my own issue. But he is known as a good debater. That is totally true. Because he does understand how to manipulate things. She goes on to say, that took effing balls and I'm sick of being underestimated and attacked as some sort of bimbo. I went in because I know I can defend my views assertively. Ben has a bigger following than me. I can assure you he's platforming me and his audience isn't crying about it. She goes on to say, I wish the left were more confident. We look weak with the platform scolding. I think we're right on the issues and I think we can change more minds if we speak to more people. So look, everybody might disagree to what extent these sorts of debates can work. I do feel differently than Anna. It's not that I think that they're pointless. I think that they can affect some people. And I think that she is one of the few good faith people who does this to actually try to influence people. Many people say that, and that is not why they do it. They do it to build their brand, to get more views, to get a book sale, whatever. I think Anna is being completely honest when she says why she tries to do it. And she also makes a good point that I think is very important. Should you platform these people? First of all, he has a platform. But also, what are you platforming them for? If you just go on Tucker Carlson's show and agree with him, okay, what was the point of that? But if you go into the lion's den and you disagree vigorously to try to rebut their, I almost pulled a Michael, I almost swore there, their BS, that is worth something. If you're smart enough to do that, if you have the facts, if you can articulate your values, that is a great use of your time, I think. And the idea that you would attack Anna Kasparian for being willing to do that, I think, is completely needless. Anyway, final thoughts, Michael?
I can't believe that pulling a Michael is now cursing. Sorry about that.
Previously it was pulling a Jordan, but now it's a Michael.
Now it's a Michael. I'll never do it again. Agreed. Amen. I see some of the value in what you're saying. I also don't think it's horrible to do both, is to try and sell a book and to
Sure. But be honest about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Be honest about
it.
Yeah. That's why Ben Shapiro's doing it.
Right.
To get people to watch his show. So anyway. Michael, it has been great as always to have you on. It would be really weird to call it a Shores Day Thursday if you weren't on. So thank you so much for joining us for that reason, if nothing else.
I look forward to seeing you on a Wednesday.
Thank you. Oh, I will come up with something. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Michael. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
And for those of you at home, thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow we don't have Brett, but we have Jason Carter. We're gonna be throwing away some garbage people. The Friday shows are always fun. It's gonna be lots of fun with Jason Carter. And you can take part right now by going to the community tab at youtube.com/The Damage Report and voting for the TDR Community Garbage Person of the Day. I can only imagine based on what we've been talking about so far this week, and I can't wait to see what you all come up with. Lots of content coming up today. We've been talking about it throughout the show, but Indisputable is up next. So look forward for Rashad Ritchie, who will be on in just a little bit. And with all that said, until next time, stay safe out there, stay sane out there, and I'll see you soon.
Welcome, it's Indisputable, good to be with you. We have a lot of show today. Joining me in the bullpen, none other than Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum, as he likes to be called. He's no longer a cop though. He will debate me again. This time, we will talk about the Build Back Better plan and taxation on the rich. Also, breaking down news of the day with me will be none other than the dynamic former Ohio State Senator, TYT contributor, Nina Turner. Top story of the day. There's a Maryland man who shot and killed his own brother and other people, but shot and killed his own brother because his brother was a pharmacist. And his brother had the audacity to give people COVID vaccines. That's according to the killer. Let's put up a picture of the alleged murderer. A Maryland man killed his brother, a pharmacist, because he was administering COVID vaccines, according to police. Cops said Jeffrey Burnham, 46 years of age, fatally shot his brother, Brian Robinette, on September 30th because he thought his brother was, and I quote, killing people with the vaccine. That's according to the Baltimore Sun. Burnham is also accused of killing 2 more people, his brother's wife, Kelly Sue, and his mother's friend, Rebecca Reynolds. Burnham's mother, Evelyn, told the police that her son said Brian knows something multiple times in the days before Brian's death, and said Brian was poisoning people with the vaccine. Now, where do you think he got this from? What do you think the brother got this idea that somehow a member of his family was in fact poisoning people with a COVID vaccination? Well, he got it from the QAnon people of the world. He got it from the politics involved in COVID-19 narratives. That's where he got it from. And it has permeated into mainstream culture. There was a time when conspiracy theorists were part of the fringes. They have now infiltrated the mainstream. Another man told the cops that Jeffrey Burnham stopped him in the city of Cumberland and asked for gas, the Sun reported. The unidentified tipster said the man mentioned that his brother was, and I quote, killing people with the COVID shot. Once again, where do you think he got that idea from? Cops said Burnham killed the 83-year-old Reynolds, his mom's friend, by stabbing her to death September 29th in her Cumberland home, about halfway between Pittsburgh and Washington, D.C., in the skinniest part of Maryland. Police said he then traveled to Ellicott City, about 100 miles west of Baltimore suburbs, and fatally shot Brian, 58, Kelly Sue, 57. The discovery of their bodies led to a region-wide manhunt. He was captured October 1st in northeast West Virginia. And according to the police, this all started because he believed that his brother was engaged in murder because he gave people COVID vaccine shots and information. Let's go to Senator Turner. What are your thoughts here?
Tragic, first of all, Doc. Very, very tragic. And apparently, this man was probably, suffering from some type of mental breakdown or paranoia, or maybe a combination of all of the above. But definitely that toxic brew of the information that he was getting and him being triggered in this way. It is absolutely tragic, and there are other people who could be triggered in the same way because of all of this nonsense and foolishness over the vaccine. And then just think about it. If he thinks his brother, a pharmacist, was killing people by giving them the COVID vaccine, but then he goes and kills people.
Yeah,
it definitely has to be something wrong there.
Tragic story. It's extremely ironic, but it's just as ironic in principle as people who say you need to be independent and then they want to stop you from wearing a mask. And we actually have some of that in this next story, okay? Anti-vax and anti-mask parents, right? Outside in the public, they are anti-vax and anti-mask. You have the right to be that if you choose to. In the public, you can do that. You can protest, you can assemble. Not an issue. But here's what they decided to do. They decided to harass parents and children who had on masks. Let me take you to the first video.
Masking children is child abuse.
It is.
You mask your child, you're a child abuser.
Ron DeSantis even admitted. Look at the 1918 Spanish flu. They didn't die of Spanish flu, they died of bacteria pneumonia. It's even on the NIH government website, look it up. You used to be traumatized because you put that mask on them and you don't let them breathe through it. You're traumatized.
That's my choice.
Yeah, well,
that's my choice.
Yeah, propagandized. You're not being told the truth. You're scaring your kid by yelling. You're scaring your kid by yelling.
Thank you for stopping. Look at all these stupid people there. Like, I hate it.
They don't get it because they don't get it. They don't understand. They've been dumbed down. No mandates on our children. Mothers, parents should decide what goes into their children and what goes over their face. Stop the mandates. Leave. Take your hands off the Big Pharma. Yeah, Big Pharma, take your hands off of our children.
It's a damn shame. They are now harassing children. Now remember the irony once again. The irony is this. They say people need to be independent. They need their freedom. They should be able to make their own decision. And look at how they're treating people. Look at how they're treating parents. Look at how they're treating children who wear a mask. This is not about independent liberty. This is not about civil intrusion. This is not about that whatsoever. This is a cult-like behavior, pure and simple. Samuel Braslow, a staff writer from the Beverly Hills Courier, shared a series of videos highlighting these anti-vax protesters. Once they arrived at Hawthorne Elementary in Beverly Hills, they continued their picketing against requirements and the state announcement of a vax mandate. Let me go to the next video.
You should choose what goes on your child's face and in your child's body. This is rape. Yeah, this is rape. They're trying to rape our children with this poison.
They say it's rape. I want you to think about what that does. There are real rape victims in the world. As horrible as this sounds, there's somebody being raped right now. And people like this would trivialize a great evil in order to fit and promote their political narrative, their misguided ideology. Shame on them, every single one of them. While the Beverly Hills Unified School District does not require vaccinations, there is a vax mandate from Governor Newsom that announced Friday. Guess what? It does not go into effect until you have FDA approval for all vaccinations for kids. So not anything happening right now. Let's go to the third video.
Do you see all these homeless people around? Are they dead in the streets with COVID? Hell no. Why? Where are the biohazard bins for these masks? Where are they?
That was on Hollywood Boulevard. You see, this issue, this element in our society is everywhere, not just isolated in one place or the other. Nita Turner, have you ever seen anything like this before?
It's outrageous. I mean, these people are literally crazy. They fighting for the wrong things. I wish they put that energy into fighting child hunger. You know, imagine if they were using that energy for something much more profound than trying to stop people from walking their children to school and also wearing masks if they want to. And your point about the state of California mandating after it is FDA approved, there are also religious and medical exemptions also will apply as well. You know, children get about 10 shots already before they enter school. What makes this one so different? It is the craziness that is being percolated by people who have, you know, fancy titles or who have some standing in society, just whipping people up, and they are amped up. I mean, they are turned all the way up, Doc. It's crazy. And another point I want to make is that a lot of people keep talking about the quickness by which this vaccine was developed. Well, no stuff, Sherlock. I mean, we have a global pandemic. We needed scientists and researchers and other folks in the ecosystem of trying to figure out how to help us tame this. However, I want to share this with our viewers that researchers really began working on developing vaccines for these types of diseases after they were discovered in 2003 and also 2012, respectively. In other words, there are some variables within the COVID-19 virus that mimic or favor other viruses. So this is not the first time that these researchers have come across some of these variables that's in this virus. Not the first time. So all of this stuff is not just, it didn't just happen overnight, and we need people to understand that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because the ingredients, for lack of a better phrase, the ingredients have been tested and studied for roughly 20 years. And when you look at the amount of money, the number of clinical trials, as well as the amount of focus placed on this one issue, you had a global focus on one issue at one time in American history or human history. You have never had that level of scrutiny, clinical trials, money, and also studied ingredients being tested, surveyed, and tried during these clinical trials. You have never had that kind of intensity in a study before for a vaccine. And now you have. Now you have. And going back to the gubernatorial order, it doesn't impact anyone until they are FDA approved. Now, I want to take you to this dad who just went ham-ish crazy by himself. Look at this.
This article says that for the kids to go back to school, they have to be vaccinated. Are you kidding me? Where the do you have the right to tell us what to do with our kids, Gavin Newsom? You're liberal, and you're a friend of mine. Get off my page.
All that damn flexing. So let me first say this, okay? Somebody probably needs to call DFAX and just check him out. Just make sure everything's okay, all right? Let me give you some background to what this young man is talking about. He is ranting and raving about the gubernatorial order that we just talked about, okay? Here's the reality. California Governor Newsom, a Democrat, on Friday, announced that the state will mandate the COVID-19 vaccine for all students in school once it is fully approved by the FDA. That's another nuance. Newsom said the mandate would begin with older children age 12 and over in grades 7th through 12th, but it would not take effect right away, given that he is waiting until the FDA gives full approval to the vaccine in that age group rather than the current emergency use authorization. Newsom also noted 10 vaccines already there, already mandated, already in use for years, many years in California, for other diseases already required. And the COVID-19 vaccine would be the 11th. Good for them. Here's the other part of it. You see, the mandate, as my dear sister just said, allows for personal belief exemptions. That means students and staff could opt out for religious or ideological reasons. Actually, in the technical language of the opt-out statute, it doesn't even have to be for what's known as a religious reason. It could be for a philosophical reason as well. But you have dads like this who are willing to harass, be angry. People are being violent, ready to tear down and tear up school boards, school buildings. You've literally had parents say they are willing to burn down the school because how dare they say what can happen to my child in school? Wait a minute, they already have vaccine mandates. They already have dress code rules. They already have, here's what time you have to sit your ass in a seat to be in the classroom. These are rules. There is something terribly wrong with how we're looking at this and how we're dealing with it. This is wrong. This is not about a vaccine. If this was about a vaccine, they would have had a problem with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. It's not about a vaccine. This is about an occultic political narrative connected to one man who has the drop on millions of Americans. Turner, what's your thought?
These people lost their ever-loving mind, as my grandmother would say. I mean, there is just nothing else to this. I mean, it really is that simple. We trying to figure out, I try not to enter the mind of crazy folks. This makes no sense whatsoever, Doc. Right, because I don't want to get stuck there. As you laid out, they got a lot of things that they must do. They must send their children to school, or they will come looking for you after a period of time. So there are all kinds of rules and regulations that we have to make sure that we keep society safe. Why they are all amped up, turned up over this, I have no idea. But God knows, I wish they would use this energy for world peace. To save their community. There are all kinds of beautiful, wonderful things that they can get amped up about. We can get amped up together and make some systemic changes in this country.
You cannot dismiss the reality of how this started, how Trump created a false narrative, intentionally misled, politicized it to meet his ultimate goal, his agenda, created disinformation campaigns, connected with those who were anti this and anti that, anti-science. You cannot dismiss the political reality associated with how people are now treating or acting in relationship to COVID-19. It's a sad truth, a very sad truth, but we continue to fight it. And that's why we don't get tired of fighting it. Sometimes I see comments that say, oh, why are we still talking about it? We're still talking about it because they still lying about it. And the day that we stop talking about it and they are still lying about it is the day they win. And they won't win here. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
So a lot of progressive office holders are doing something fun. I like fun. They're doing the last 2 years in 2 minutes. Okay, we're gonna try it here. First, I wanna let you guys know about the years before that. Hey, remember we started the Just Democrats here on the Young Turks. It was officially launched on our air, basically by you guys. And then we featured AOC, we featured Cori Bush, and Ro Khanna became the first ever Just Democrat incumbent, all on the Young Turks. Now, the last 2 years have been a spectacular follow-up to that. So let's put the 2 minutes on the clock and do this. Young Turks got to start back in 2002, and I think we've been an important part of the progressive movement ever since. What we mainly do is amplify the progressive voice and candidates out there, and I think we've done a pretty good job. Right now, we're currently #1 most engaged news politics network online, beating CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, all of them. We're #1 in total minutes watched. That means not only the number of people watching, but how long they watch. We just crossed 20 million followers and 500 million monthly views. Now, why? That's because actually the country's progressive. It's 2/3 progressive, and you guys have allowed us to be your voice, and we're incredibly thankful for that. So what did we do with that voice? Well, let's look at 2019. We went all over the country talking to you guys and the candidates. So we were in Miami, we were in Detroit, we were in Houston, and we were in Iowa. In fact, we were all over Iowa. You guys were all over Iowa, and all of the candidates saw you guys. We had wonderful people speaking, like the one and only Nina Turner at our rallies. Bernie Sanders stopped by, Andrew Yang, Elizabeth Warren. We interviewed almost everyone on the campaign trail, with the exception of Biden and Buttigieg. And we held them accountable. We even did a progressive economic pledge, and so many wonderful people signed on to that. Bernie Sanders, Warren, Marianne Williamson, AOC, the entire squad, Justice Democrats, and so many others. Now, on top of all that, we started a show called The Conversation, where we featured so many progressive thinkers, writers, and candidates. And one of the candidates we featured in 2019 was Jamal Bowman. Here comes Jamal Bowman. Then we had an amazing 2020. We hired a climate reporter. Damage Report passed 500,000 subscribers. Young Turks passed 5 million subscribers. We're getting the message out to more and more people. Bernie Sanders comes on in the heat of the primary. He comes on after the election to say what we're gonna do for the future. And then Marie Newman wins. Jamal Bowman wins. Cori Bush wins. And then just when you thought it couldn't get any better, here comes Nina Turner. Hello, somebody. And she's running for Congress, and she comes on the Young Turks first. On election week, we had nearly 2 million hours of viewing. We're #1 destination for progressives. You made all that happen. This is amazing, and thank you for those 2 years. What, I went past 2 minutes? Of course!
Viewers had asked for an interview with the TYT Lizard. Mr. Lizard. Oh, you changed colors today. Nice. I don't even know how you feel about us. Do you even like us?
Well, you guys made me this awesome house, so I'm kind of in your debt. I was found outside on the street, and you gave me a home. Granted, it was a really crappy home for a while, but then through the power of fundraising, I became a person who has a multi-level Trump-style mansion.
You do. By the way, you never looked better, man. Normally, you're just green or just brown, but today you're in mid-lizard, right?
I'm not very smart. I'm a lizard, so I don't know how the science works. I guess this is just my mood. It's not every day that thresholds like this are broken. I'm just so excited. I can't contain my pigmentation.
And now you're showing it off.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never seen the lizard like this before.
All right. A lot on the agenda. We have a whole lot of show left. Let me remind everyone that this show has been nominated for the Best of 2021 Atlanta Magazine's Best of series for Best TV Anchor. You can vote. You can vote, and you can vote once a day up until October 11th. I actually think it ends October 11th at 12 midnight. But go to tyt.com/Rashad, tyt.com/Rashad. Type in my name, Rashad Richey. I actually think it auto-populates Dr. Rashad Richey Indisputable. Just click there and boom, you have voted, all right? I appreciate you in advance. Also, Power Hour with Nina Turner, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's Thursdays, speaking truth to power, fight the power, get the power, use the power. Power Hour with Senator Nina Turner and Cenk Uygur. But see, right there, you see that superhero? That's Senator Turner. That's actually what she looks like off air. Seriously, I've seen her. Okay, Andrew Yang. This should be quite interesting. Andrew Yang will be with the Young Turks with Cenk and Michael Short today. I'm looking forward to that. Honestly, I think I need to have Andrew Yang in the bullpen. That's just me talking. That's just me, okay? He's a good guy, but I got, he needs to be in the bullpen. Okay, let me read some of these comments. TYT member, Nasty Habits, Nasty Dragon says, waiting for the good doctor, need some Karen Basher medicine. Well, you about to get it. Just be anti-racist. Made it just in time for Dr. Richey. Hope the TYT family's doing well today, and we are. Thank you for that. Mickey C, the silver-haired dragon. I've heard so many people say that we need to be prepared because violence is coming. I disagree. Violence was already here and has increased with Trump's permission. With his and his minions' constant calls to arm, it will only get worse and worse. Well, seems like it's headed in that direction, my friend. YouTube super chat, Holly Todd. These people have to evoke horrendous things to make their stupidity seem justified. It is sick. And you're right about that because they know their argument is weak, so they use somebody else's argument to try to make their argument stand. It's a classic Karenicity trick, okay? All right, Brett Williams. The people that got guns and kids that probably should not. Thank you for the shirt, Doc. I framed your letter, Nina. Oh, that is so nice. Thank you. Non-human is humanist. These anti-vaxxers have kids and family, and I'm worried about them. We just saw what that guy did. Unvaxxed kids are in danger. They deserve better. I agree with you. I think they do deserve better. Omega Shinron Dragon. Let's remember to tell anti-vaxxers hush. Months ago, melanin challenged people were in such a rush. Queen Nina and the good doctor turned lies to mush. I like that. Thank you so much for that. Where is Kelly O'Hara? I haven't heard from her in a while. Raja Harris. Hey, Dr. Rashad. And the Nina Turner. The cherry pie made in your honor was good. Candy butter, graham cracker, brown sugar. What is this? This is inside something I don't know about? Do you know?
I don't know. That is more to the message. I need some more clues.
I don't know, man. I think they may have made a pie in your honor or something. I don't know. Nobody's made me a pie in my honor. Okay.
I did get ice cream made in my honor, though, by the one and only Ben Cohen. Yes, I did. One of the co-founders of Ben and Jerry. Yes, he did. He made Hello Somebody ice cream for my campaign personally.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
real good guy.
Yes.
Nana Nikki, if Trump had won and recommended vaccines, they would be precisely the opposite. Had he backed the mask recommendations instead of fighting the CDC, we wouldn't be called child abusers for protecting kids. You're absolutely right. If Trump would have said, oh, do this instead, this will be completely different right now. You're 100% right. Let's go to Twitch. Husky One Dragon. My brother's murdering people, so I'm going to murder him. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Mike Gonzalez 2K. LOL, literal mic drop. I know my mic dropped. I got excited. All right. Bear with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free. Back off. I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
My money's in this bank, and I'm going to take it out.
Well, then you have to abide by the rules, and you have to have a mask on.
This is a state.
It's not. Businesses have the right to refuse service, even if you're not wearing a mask. That's their choice.
My money out.
Awesome. Well, you need to go and get a mask and then take your money out. You're not allowed to do.
I've been waiting here.
Ma'am, listen, we're going to do this the easy way or the hard way.
What are you going to do? Arrest me?
Yes, for intruding on premises.
That's hilarious.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And you believe in this?
I believe in it.
Do you believe in this?
The laws, yes.
The law says that I do not have to wear a mask.
You can not in public, but you're not in public. You're not in public.
Yes.
I'm not going to argue with you about this. This is not a public place. This is a private business. No, you're not. We're going to go outside.
Are you serious?
Do I look like I'm kidding?
Well, I don't know, because
let's go walk outside.
You've got some issues.
I've got issues.
That you're taking away people's human rights.
Okay.
Oh, now is he going to shoot me, people? Is he going to shoot me for trying not to breathe?
Cool.
Come on, dude.
Don't do that. Oh, no.
Do not touch me. Who do you think you are?
Point 10, one resisting.
Back up. Some old lady is getting handcuffed here. Here, people. Ow.
Ma'am, put your hands behind your back. Say it. You don't stop resisting. Stop.
Is anybody gonna get real here? Really?
Relax.
No one's gonna get real? Wow.
Come on.
Oh, are you gonna smash my head to the ground now? Now you're smashing my arm into my private area?
Your private area?
Yeah.
Put your hands behind your back.
My hand is behind my back, sir.
This one. Turn over on your stomach. Put your hand behind your back. Relax.
I'm totally relaxed.
No, you are not relaxed.
Is anybody going to get real? I mean, what exactly was she asking people to do? To fight the police? She says that the police harassed her. She later says the police broke her foot. They did not, by the way. This is a throwback, Karen. And let me tell you why I'm highlighting this. You saw in real time what it looks like when privilege runs out. Now, privilege is not 100%. In this case, somebody said, damn your privilege. Now, I want to remind you, the officer was still very calm. I guarantee you if that would have been a black male, he would not have said, oh, come on, let's go ahead and get down there. Go ahead and put your hands behind your back. No, it would have been different language used. Would have been much more aggression, right? So he was very calm throughout the whole ordeal, even called an ambulance for her trouble. But yes, a private bank can enforce policies as it relates to shoes, shirts, mask, decency, language. If you use profanity, they can ask you to leave. If you don't have a mask because they have a policy for a mask mandate in the middle of a pandemic, private companies can do that. Now, she gets arrested. She's shocked. She wants people to help her. Her privilege has run out. Remember, she's asking people to help her, and everybody around her, they're wearing a damn mask. They're following the rules. And she wants them to help her, no mask behind. Ma'am, all you had to do was put on the mask. They provided at the bank for you. This was a real simple fix. But here's the other part. She has a dog inside of her car. Ma'am, you're not even thinking about the pet, ma'am. You are horrible. You have a whole dog outside and you're willing to get arrested. Dog out there in the hot ass sun. Come on now. Here's what happened next.
I refuse to listen to the.
Come on.
You know what? I think
she's getting your stuff. Come on.
I think you broke my freaking foot.
Okay, I'll call her.
And that's my business over there.
Yeah, she's gonna pick it up. Come on, we're going outside. One in custody.
Wow, not wearing a mask, people. This is what they do to you.
Slow everybody down.
Okay, I've got my dog in my truck.
I got you. I'm 10-4. Send EMS for a 60-year-old white female. She's complaining of foot pain.
Yeah, you broke my damn foot.
Take a seat.
So dramatic. She said she's being arrested for not wearing a mask. No, ma'am. I'm sure your charge docket says you're being arrested for criminal trespass. I'm positive that's what it says. Senator Turner, you saw that pivotal moment where she realized when keeping it real goes wrong.
She took it too damn far, didn't she?
Took it too far.
She did. I mean, she could have had her transaction done, and all the time she's raising all that ruckus. And I believe she was arrested for the same thing. She pulled that same thing back in March. I mean, this is her MO. This is what this woman does on a regular basis. But yeah, it ran out. And you're right, the officer was so kind, so genteel to her. She was talking all that smack.
Yeah.
Until he said, this is really going down, ma'am. We're gonna arrest you. And yes, you are getting handcuffed too.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting about this whole thing is that many of these individuals are the same people that would say to unarmed black men and unarmed black women, black and brown bodies that get accosted or even killed by the cops. Well, why didn't they just follow the rules?
Right, why didn't they cooperate?
Why did they not cooperate? They were not complying. This would not have happened if they didn't. So anyway, next story, Milwaukee man. This is very, very disturbing. A Milwaukee man demands accountability after the police accidentally shot him. That's according to their narrative. Handcuffed his wife and children while chasing another man. I kid you not. Milwaukee man, Terry Davis, 43 years of age, was shot by a Milwaukee police officer who was pursuing another individual. Davis published a 50-second body camera clip of this encounter. The encounter originally happened September 2019. Let me take you to the video. Here it is.
He's over here! South! 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 Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands right now! Let me see! Let me see your hands! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Put your hands out of his hands! Let's get him up there! All right, all right, all right. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared, y'all. Hey, no. Who's shot? He's hit. He's hit.
They shot the wrong person. Let me give you more background. Police were trying to catch a suspect who fled the scene of a traffic stop, okay? The suspect ran into Mr. Davis's home. The two men did know each other, but obviously Mr. Davis had nothing to do with this encounter. Cops go in, guns blazing, and they shoot this brother. Put his picture up. Okay? They shoot him. Let's show a picture of the officer, Nicholas Zins, who was discharged after wrongfully shooting Mr. Davis. Okay? The story gets deeper. When speaking with the Atlanta Star, Davis said, and I quote, "I haven't spoke to anyone from the department since the day it happened. I still haven't received an apology. You mean to tell me these people know they shot the wrong man? They know you could have died from this incident between police and citizen. They know you had nothing to do with a crime whatsoever, and nobody is speaking to you. There's no liaison, there's no meeting with the chief, nothing, nada. They first have to acknowledge any wrongdoing. They haven't accepted accountability for their actions in this process, according to Mr. Davis. As Davis was being treated for his gunshot wound, his family, including his 4 teenage daughters, were detained and handcuffed. No charges were filed against Davis, and the officer involved was fired from the Milwaukee Police Department, but the injuries of Davis remain. The journey of justice is still ongoing. 2 years later. 2 years later. Now, here's the other part. There's a cover-up happening, okay? The cell phone is still in the custody of the police. The police still have his cell phone and has been reluctant to release all of the body camera footage. Since the shooting, David has launched a website detailing his case and organized several press conferences to keep pressure on the police and city officials. In November 2019, Davis filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the city of Milwaukee, seeking compensation for damages caused by the police. When the Atlanta Black Star reached out to the Milwaukee PD for comment, they said, and I quote, here it is, the Milwaukee Police Department does not have a formal statement on this matter, and there is pending litigation. The member engaged in this officer-involved shooting who was discharged with the Milwaukee Police Department. Okay, cool, let's get that damn cell phone video. Can we get that? I'm gonna make a prediction here, lost in evidence. Senator Turner, thoughts?
I mean, the obligation of the city and that police department does not stop just because they rightfully fired that officer. Let's get this straight. Yeah. The mayor should exert some leadership here. The police chief should exert some leadership here. And hell, whoever the city council person is should exert some leadership here. I mean, I served on a city council in my city, in the city of Cleveland, and had that happen to my resident, you best believe I will be working with, the mayor and others, make sure we get to the truth. Now we know what the truth is now, Doc. So ain't no need, just say you're sorry. Talking about you ain't got no formal complaint prepared yet. How much formality does it take to say we're sorry, we were wrong, and how do we make this right? This is a bunch of BS right here. They playing
absolutely. Game. Yeah, and admission of wrongdoing, the cop was fired. We got more on the other side. Stick and stay.
You're about to watch some behind the scenes footage of the Young Turks. Ooh. Now, these are partial videos. If you want to get all of them, you become a member, go to tyt.com/join, and you'll get all the behind the scenes of me, Anna, John, JR, a little bit reality show like, tyt.com/join, and enjoy this.
You know what you're seeing behind me? Jersey, hold. Watch me flip this camera. However I flip it. Do I flip it like this? No, I just took a picture. I'm bitzing right now.
What?
Behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. For members? I don't have my face on.
She doesn't have her face on, folks. Oh, that's JR's ass right there.
You can't take 5 minutes off, can you?
No, I can't, Johnny Pie. I said it was live stream, but I was lying. It's not a live stream. It's just for members. Bitsy, this is my cat. You know what his name is? Kiki Cat.
Animals are innocent.
Control room and the insanity is obviously there.
Right now, as you can see, I'm directing or tech directing.
I'm so happy to be here.
This is what like a Labor Day beard looks like for Cenk. Man, you're a Young Turks viewer if you recognize me like this.
Such a big fan. Oh, thank you. You are the one person in my life I would love to meet.
What's going on, guys? This is a Bitsy or a BTS or behind the scenes with Hassan Piker, AKA Woke Bay.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you there.
I have finished my show, The Damage Report, and now I get into a really awkward time of the day.
When I'm sitting, the control room is right there. So I can see Bart.
And this is the Pittsburgh office, by the way. I'll refer to often as the boiler room.
You see how it's ripped? Is it super unprofessional to wear that at a business meeting? Or am I like cool, rebel?
I just finished doing the power panel and I'm fired up.
What do you do for TYT?
Not a whole lot.
If you're frantically tweeting at us that something's broken, thank you, because I'm fixing it.
And thank you for being a TYT member.
Super last thing, because there's always got to be a super last thing. Oh, that was disastrous. This has been behind the scenes behind the scenes.
Welcome to Indisputable. I'm your host, Dr. Rashad Richard. We got a lot happening today. And what do we do on this show? We tell the truth. You know why we tell the truth? Because the truth is simply indisputable.
Rashad, great to be here. Congratulations on the new show. And I gotta let everybody know that Rashad and I go way back.
Here's the pattern that we see in all of these Karen stories. They think they own stuff they do not own. Now, where does that come from? I don't know, maybe slavery. Maybe they think they should still own black people.
This is what happens when Karens weaponize the police.
When you're used to privilege, equality seems like oppression.
It hits you in a certain way when someone is holding you against your will, treating you like you're a criminal and you're an innocent person. This is something that black people face no matter where they are.
A stronger black economy lends itself to a stronger, greater economy. Don't think it's exclusive of you, it's inclusive of you.
What's your beef with critical race theory?
It adds more fuel to the fire of the racist tendencies that we already have.
We have a generation of problem solvers that can remedy the problem if they are properly taught what the problem is.
You know who created redlining in this country? The white liberal.
I don't give a damn who created it. If it's a racist policy, Shelley, here's what I don't know. I don't know. See, there you go filibustering, brother. You're scared of this truth, but you're gonna get it though.
Climate is changing fundamentally, extremely, and non-linearly. It's becoming worse now. It's not when the levees burst that is the problem. It's in the anticipation of that.
So I hope every human being is safe. And by human beings, I do not include multinational corporations, especially the ones that started climate change in the first place.
What we're currently doing right now in cutting emissions is clearly not enough. There will be ramifications to what Trump is doing. I don't want people to suffer, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot of suffering because we have an imbecile as our leader.
All right, welcome back. We got a lot of show left. Let me read some of these comments. Before I get to the comments, don't forget reactions with Ray Vanna, okay? Happening right after Indisputable. Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. That is a Twitch exclusive. Twitch.tv/TYT, all right? Make sure to tune in. Also, the conversation, always live, 5:30 p.m. Going to be a doozy today. 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, tyt.com/live before the Young Turks. All right, here are the comments. Loving it. TYT member Mickey C. the Silver-Haired Dragon. LOL, Dr. Richie. I baked a pumpkin pie in your honor. I then ate it in your honor. And somehow I don't feel honored. I don't know how that works. Feel like I should have got something out that deal. All right. I appreciate the thought that counts, right? Let's put this up. Mickey C. the Silver-Haired Dragon, the rise of anti-Karens, true patriots. Do we have that graphic? That's dope. Okay, all right, we don't have it. If we have it, we'll put it up, but it's really cool. Next, TYT reporter says, thoughts and prayers, Karen, thoughts and prayers. That's all you get from me. I mean, what else you gonna do, all right? You're asking people that are following the rules to help you not follow the rules. Doesn't make sense. I'm still trying to figure out what she meant by is anybody going to get real? But what do we mean? Like, what? You want somebody to attack the police? You could have just put on a damn mask. Or went through the drive-through window. I mean, there are a lot of options here. YouTube super chat. Chaplain Fred says, Dr. Rashad, I am very involved in my area in the San Fernando Valley, California, and all my families have agreed to vaccinate our children. Good. All the families have agreed, good. I have an autistic son, and how can he defend himself? I support vaccine. Well, thank you. I'm glad you said that. Big ups to you. Health Profession says, hey, Dr. Richie, I don't even drink coffee, but I got my mug today. Hashtag rooting for you. And here's the thing about the mug. The mug is actually magical. So whatever you put inside of it, even if you're not a coffee drinker, it will make whatever you put in it taste better. Just try it, okay? Deidre Dragon, Always here and ready for the truth, Dr. Richey. Your help is so needed with exposing nefarious activity at an Alabama school involving blood testing teams for parking spots. Please let me know where to send you more info. Yeah, we got a place, right? Are we ready with that, producers? Okay. We're trying to set something up. Let's put it like that. So if you have a story, I want you to send it to a particular place. We may have that ready for you tomorrow. So Deidre, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Hopefully we will have it to announce at that time, okay? Too much for you to handle. Love your show. Glad you got in contact with my buddy in Denmark. You're a good man. My pleasure, anytime. All right. Okay, we got a lot of comments. I can't read all of them. Let me touch Twitch as well. Loudest_Carrie. Oh my God, love Nita glasses. She gets that all the time, by the way. Let me take you to a very sad story. Young black male teen, a juvenile, in a juvenile facility, loses consciousness after being restrained and died, all right? This is a very tough story. The Kansas Bureau of Investigations is looking into the case of a teen who died 2 days after he was restrained in a juvenile facility. Let's put up a picture of CJ. That's CJ. Cedric CJ Lofton of Wichita died on September 26th at a hospital 2 days after he was restrained by staff at the Juvenile Intake and Assessment Center. So let me give you some background. On September 24th, Wichita police were called to Lofton's foster father's home around 1 a.m. Authorities say police found Lofton behaving erratically outside and spent time trying to convince him to seek mental health treatment, but ultimately took him into custody on suspicion of 4 counts of battery of a law enforcement officer following a physical struggle. At the center, Lofton was placed in a holding cell. The young man allegedly assaulted a staff member after he was let out of his cell to use the bathroom. Then a lengthy physical struggle between Lofton and several staff members. To get him into the holding cell and place him in the handcuffs, the KBI said in a report, adding that when Lofton was under control, corrections staff were monitoring him and noticed he became unresponsive. So this just happened by them looking at him, according to the report. The police reportedly were called back to the facility before staff realized the teen was unconscious. Emergency services arrived and transported the young man to the Wesley Medical Center, where he died 2 days later without regaining consciousness again. If charges are filed, footage will be released during the preliminary hearing. The KBI said there were potentially 5 staff members involved in the restraint. None of them, not one, is on administrative leave. Let me tell you why this is so difficult for me. Let's put his picture up again. This is a child. This is a child. He's a foster kid. I was a foster kid. I was in and out of juvenile. I was wayward. I didn't follow the rules. I don't think I deserved to die, just like he didn't. And now the people that killed him, think about how much they don't care about his life. It is routine if you kill somebody, even if you were justified, you have to sit down for a minute. You have to go on administrative leave. We have to investigate. You have to sit down. You come back when the investigation is final. This kid meant so little to this agency that not one of them is on administrative leave and he's dead. Nina, what are your thoughts?
It is tragic. The tragedy is not just with this young man, but this happens all over this country.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, the district attorney said that they don't even have enough right now to even file charges. So not only are these people not on administrative leave, the system itself is saying, We don't have enough right now to even file charges.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Something may never be done about this. Justice may never be served. I hope that's not the case ultimately, but that's what it's looking like right now. It is just a wanton disregard for Black life, period. Because it's happening too often for us to say that it's anything other than that.
We can call that a macroaggression that's very prominent and it's center and it's tragic. But then there are these microaggressions that lead up to this kind of behavior and this kind of lack of compassion. Let me take you to an amusement park where a Black mother, now get this, a Black mother at an amusement park called the amusement park. Person answers the phone. He's rude. He hangs up on her, hangs up in her face. She goes to the amusement park. She finds the guy at the counter and says, "Why did you hang up in my face?" An issue about customer service turned into this. Here's the video.
I don't care. Don't be sorry. Because obviously, not only is he rude, but he's racist because he doesn't want me to question him about why he rudely hung up in my face.
Building for calling me racist. That is the dumbest. Can I get an officer?
So you're calling the police because I asked you a question?
Can you get the police over to
send them
ASAP? I have a customer that.
Send them. Absolutely. I never knew it was your policy to call the police on someone who asked why you hung up in their face. No, that's unacceptable. I literally said, "Why did you rudely hang up on my face?" And he told me to leave his establishment and said, "I'm calling the police on you." That was our little conversation.
This mother is trying to make sure that she's being a good mother. You know, she's at an amusement park, spend some quality time, have fun with the kids. You know how that goes, right? Well, this person was rude. She said something about the rudeness. This is a customer service situation. That's what this is. Now remember, when you call the police, you're calling a gun. You have determined that in order to reconcile or remedy this situation, somebody with a gun needs to show up. You mean to tell me that somebody with a gun needs to remedy a complaint about your damn customer service skills? Put up a picture of this young lady. Amber Spencer is her name. That's the mother, okay? She got the police called on her. Spencer will go into detail as to what happened on her Facebook page. She said on Monday, September 20th, Urban Air Adventure Park manager, she knows his name is Brandon, called the police on my 11-year-old son and I, falsely reporting that he needed assistance ASAP, removing a customer who was behaving, and I quote, inappropriately and screaming and swearing at him. None of that happened. She does go into detail about what happened. You see much of that already on the video. Sadly, the police department did arrive. They made no effort to determine what actually happened. They said, telling me the manager said I behaved inappropriately and was forced to leave, okay? That's the conclusion of that story as of now. We're looking for updates and I'm sure she will provide them as they come. But once again, Senator Turner, Black woman, simply inserting her right to complain about customer service, right? She gets 911 called on her. She's not violating any rules.
No, not at all. And the fact that he took great, he knew exactly what he was going to do. He didn't struggle with saying, "I'm calling the police on you."
Yeah.
Because it's the default position. And you know why? Because they know that when they call the police on Black people in particular, some action is going to be taken 9 times out of 10 against that Black person, no questions asked.
Yep.
As one great rapper once said in some lyrics, "My skin is my sin." That was Ice Cube. That is real. That was real generations ago, and it's still real today. And that is why they do it with great, they don't even think about it. They don't even give it a second thought to be able to call the police. And then secondly, taking away her agency as a Black woman to be able to ask a question.
Right.
Doc, I do agree with you. This is a customer service issue. She was not out of control. She was very calm, cool, and collected. She just wanted to know, why are you being rude? Why did you hang up on me? I think those are reasonable questions because I would have asked the same questions too. And I might not have been so cool, calm, and collected because I cannot stand somebody hang up the phone on me.
Come on now.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. The Minneapolis police on video hunting protesters. Let me just go to the video on this. Here it is.
What the are we gonna do to you? We're out here peacefully protesting. This is America. We can say what we want.
Gotcha.
Although this group probably is predominantly white.
Oh yeah.
Because he's not looting and fighting.
5, 6 of the people said they're from Minneapolis and they're all white.
It's nice to hear that we've moved to tonight. It was just nice to hear. We're gonna go find some more people instead of chasing people around.
Yeah.
We're going to hunt.
Go home.
He's down.
Son, listen. Put your hands on your back. Listen. Put your hands on your back. Listen, Sen, listen. Put your hands on your back.
You heard their commanding officer tell them, instead of chasing people down, you hunt them. And then you saw the hunt. You saw them celebrating the hunt. You saw them shooting at people, telling them, do this, do that, and then giving each other high five. You saw that. Those were cops doing it. And then they're in an unmarked white van pulling out on another man, shooting rubber bullets. He shoots back. He doesn't know who the hell they are. I wish I had much more time to go into this story. Bottom line, the man that they shot at, who shot back at them, they ended up charging him with attempted murder. A jury acquitted him. No, this man was trying to defend himself. He had no idea what y'all criminals were doing. Nina Turner, give you the last word.
Doc, we got a systemic problem with public safety in this country, policing in this country, and the fact that they were just so cavalier about it should disturb us all. Doc, we got to come back to this one because I got so much more I want to say.
I know
about this.
We will. We will. Sister, always a pleasure having you on.
I'm wearing my Karen. I wish a Karen Wood shirt.
Are you? Oh, you do? I love it.
I wish, because we do live by the wish creed.
All day. But we're gonna put the I wish and I hope creed together one day. We're gonna come up with a synonymous creed for both. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, dear sister. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken when I first got my license, like 17 years old or 17, 18, whatever it was. And I'm driving, I think, my dad's Oldsmobile. And I parked it in a place where there was 2 cars next to me, really tight spot, and a car behind me. I don't even know how I got in there because I'm a terrible driver. Back then I was an even worse driver. And on the roads I'm okay, but in parking spots I have terrible spatial reasoning and I'm a mess. And on my way out, I hit all 3 cars at once. I broke all records, okay? So I went, as I'm backing out, I went boom, oh and this side hit that car, this side hit this car, and the back hit the 3rd car, okay? And I got stuck. I didn't know how to get out. Like, I went, okay, for this, and then I'm like, no, and then, right? And then finally I had to stop, go inside the KFC and go, I'm sorry, I hit a bunch of your cars. They're like, what do you mean a bunch of your cars? I'm like, I don't know.
Wow, there's a B?
Yeah, I'm like, I hit 3 cars. I don't know, so you guys gotta come help me, okay? Okay, so 1, my bad, really sorry about that. Okay, number 2, can someone take my car out? Because I don't wanna keep hitting your cars and I'm incapable of taking it out of this spot.
Now baby, move that fat, baby, move that fat. We thugged out.
Hi, I'm Brett Ehrlich with Breaking News with Brett Ehrlich. This is Breaking News with Brett Ehrlich. Hi, Brett Ehrlich here. According to EPA head Scott Pruitt, climate change is not happening. He cited a meme on Facebook he saw. When pressed to back up this source, he said it must be accurate because the watermark said it was made by a scientist. So, your move, Truth.
Do all of you know the Young Turks?
An outlet like yourself that are willing to cover this story from the very beginning and that weren't afraid to say, hey, this is something that is legitimate.
And this is why what Cenk and the Young Turks are doing is so important.
Brent Welder is very progressive Democrat. He's a just Democrat. In fact, uncorrupted, not going to take big corporate PAC money. When did you start watching the show and when did you become a member?
So I've been watching for 10 years, an active viewer, but also more importantly, getting out there with causes like Wolfpack.
By the end of our campaign, we had organized about 22,000 individual contributions with an average about $27 a piece. And those initial people were a lot of TYT supporters as well.
In looking at the world in a very different way than corporate media does.
It takes those early people who believe that can really be the seeds of this movement, and that has been the Young Turks.
Thank you, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks.
Thank you to TYT and all the progressives around the country that have our backs.
You know, the first and only interviews that we had tonight to be with the Young Turks as well, because you guys have been here from the very beginning, and that's what this night is all about.
And I thank Cenk very much for the very good work that he does.
Thank you so much for all in this together, and the people are so powerful, and we're gonna get it done.
Thank you for your constant support.
It's a pleasure to be with rebels. I like that.
For all of the help that you've given to the Just Democrats, to Wolfpack, to help fellow progressives, thank you guys, to all the Young Turks members that make it possible.
Hey, this is Edwin. Most of you might recognize me, well, not me, mostly my laugh from the main show.
I mean, it's gonna be hard to get the Uygur maneuver on him.
And today, my talent is Rubik's Cubes. You gotta forgive me, it's been at least 5 years since I competed. So that's why I'm actually going pretty slow. Watch this.
All right, welcome back. Let me read some of these amazing comments. And don't forget, do not forget, reactions with Ray Vonner right after Indisputable, okay? So don't forget that. Okay, TYT member, is it all Torb? Wow, this show is great. Hopefully this one sticks around. Good job, Indisputable crew. And it is a crew. Thank you for thinking about the crew. It's a team effort. Lynn, how about a new shirt? Anti-Karens, the unsung heroes. It's in the works. YouTube super chat, Trudy Lawrence. Oh yes, Karen got handcuffed. Made my week while sipping my tea. The pup 3 master, or the puppet master, I got it now. Senator Nina Turner and Dr. Rashad Ritchie, you are the people's champions and true American heroes. Keep fighting the good fight. We appreciate you. And we can fight the good fight because of people like you. Never forget that. Brett Williams, you hear about Barry Washington, Nina Turner, you're Wonder Woman. Love it, as she is. Brandy Rubble, terrific Thursday indeed. Dr. Ritchie and Nina Turner, know you have people in Eastern Tennessee supporting the progressive movement. Thank you for that. Okay, Twitch, Dragon Penny, Edwin is the best. Shout out to the TYT team. Angie Pepper, I always imagine it's cause the doc is jogging in place, throwing air punches to get pumped up for bullpen. Something like that, actually. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bullpen. He's back. We have former officer Brandon Tatum, author of Beaten Black and Blue, being a black cop in an America under siege. Welcome.
Dr. Ritchie, thank you for having me back.
Absolutely, brother. Always fun chopping it up with you, sir. I don't want to presume what you know or believe about taxation in America or the Build Back Better plan. So give us your sentiment about it.
So, my whole sentiment on taxation, in many ways, I think that our country has overtaxed its citizens and people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her whole push to tax the wealthy, I think is a strategy that's not gonna be successful. It has proven throughout history that it's not successful. People that are multi-billionaires, these multi-billionaire companies or multi-billion-dollar companies, they are not gonna pay taxes like you and I, presumably that you're in the middle class. They're not going to pay taxes. So any level of leverage that the government tried to impose on people through taxation, I think is not the first and the most effective approach.
That's really interesting. So you're for taxation of people in the middle class and poor people, but you don't think taxation is a proper remedy of revenue, obtaining revenue for the government as it relates to rich people.
No, that's not an accurate depiction of what I'm saying.
Okay,
I like as minimal taxes as possible on any citizen. What I'm saying is that the proposal that somehow the wealthiest 1% is going to somehow be responsible for the highest tax payments, that's not going to happen. They are going to divert taxes unless we change the tax plan. They are not going to pay taxes. It's going to fall on the middle class, which I think is disingenuous from our government. I wish they would tell the truth. And so my whole thing is that I wish they would tax the public less, use our money more effectively and wisely. And I think it's fair to tax everybody. Everybody should be taxed at a fair rate. The rich is no exception and the poor is no exception.
Okay, the issue is in the details because taxation is a model that continues to fluctuate based on left-leaning policies, right-leaning policies. But if I told you, brother, that left-leaning policies, which have a tendency to tax wealthier individuals more, that left-leaning policies actually create a better economy for the average person. Would you believe if I told you that?
No, I wouldn't believe it if you told it to me, and I don't see that being applicable in reality. Because we've had left-leaning presidents and Amazon still haven't paid taxes. So I don't think that it sounds good, but I don't think it's a reality.
Let me give you some facts, and you can check these facts out anytime you get an opportunity. This is a summary of Democratic presidents and Republican presidents, okay? Under Democratic presidents, black families' incomes grew on an average of about $1,000 annually, but only grew $142 under Republican presidents. The black unemployment rate fell by a net of almost 8% across 26 years of Democratic presidents, but it went up a net of 13.7% over the years, same amount of years under Republican presidents. Across the years of Democratic presidents, black poverty declined by a net, brother, of 23.6%, and it grew. Poverty increased under Republicans in that same time frame. When Republicans held the White House, it actually grew by 3 percentage points, went in the opposite direction. Similar numbers exist for our black and brown brothers, for our Latino brothers as well. So line for line, when you look at American presidencies and left-leaning policies, the economy for everyday people, it does better. And it does massively better for those who are black people in the community. And GDP growth happens, increases happen under Democratic presidents more so than Republican presidents. That's 100% of the time in modern history. Democratic presidents have added jobs to the marketplace. We're talking about private sector jobs at a record rate. When President Barack Obama inherited the White House, they were hemorrhaging jobs at 750,000 to almost 1 million. He completely turned it around, still to this day holds the record for the fastest private job growth ever, okay? So these are some actual economic facts that you can check out at the Bureau of Labor Statistics and some other agencies as well. So it's surprising to me, brother, that you're not aware that left-leaning policies have contributed to significant economic gains from GDP growth, private sector job creation, as well as household median income. And let me go to Donald Trump before you respond. Under Donald Trump, while more people had technical employment, because I know that's typically the pushback, that more people were employed, more black people had technical employment, but that was because they were using a U3 rating system to determine employment, rather than the U6 rating system, which actually determines if the employment is legit or not. So in the U3 rating system that Trump used, if you work for 1 hour in that survey month, you were considered to be employed. They provided no nuance to that data. And all you have to do is look at the conclusion of the data. While black people had more contact with technical employment under the U3 rating system, household median incomes fell by $600 to $800 with black families across this country. That's your average decline of household median income. So go ahead, brother. Your response.
Okay, so I want to challenge the people who are watching this to say, listen, look at your independent or your own social economic status 4 years under Trump and right now, and if you remember under Barack Obama, look at your own individual status and you make a certain determination based on that. I think that your numbers, although may be factual, they are deceptive, because just because there's a Democratic president, listen, hear me
go
out.
ahead, brother.
Just because there's a Democrat president or a Republican president does not necessarily mean the policies go Democrat or Republican way. When you look at Barack Obama, the House and Senate was run by Republicans. They had the House and the Senate. Under President Donald Trump, the House and Senate and the presidency was under Donald Trump initially into the midterms, and the Democrats had primarily, taken over the House, and they had a lot of leverage in the Senate.
You got some of your politics wrong. You got some of your politics wrong on that.
Many policies that are put in place have a lot to do with what happens in Congress. When you talk about passing budgetary funds, when you talk about laws, they all get passed through Congress, signed by the President of the United States of America. When you look at President Donald Trump, historic low unemployment for minorities, for black people, and also a 50, 60-year low of unemployment for women. So Donald Trump's policies, America First policies, were very successful in our time period. I mean, you could just go to Barack Obama, go from Barack Obama to Trump, and then now look at Joe Biden. And here's another statistic that people have to take into consideration. And this is also goes for Joe Biden. Under President Trump's last year or so as president, there was a global pandemic, which adds to unemployment and all of the other elements that we see. Same criticism can go for Joe Biden. You can't really talk about his administration and economy when you're looking at a global pandemic in his administration. So although you may be putting out some truthful statements, they're inconsistent and they're not transparent enough to paint the picture of the full spectrum. That's why I say people that are watching this, what was your finances like? What was your unemployment status like? Could you find a job under President Trump, or were you struggling to find a job under President Trump? Those are the things that I think will be more applicable to people looking at these data points and coming up with a conclusion of their own.
Officer Tatum, since that wasn't enough for you, let me give you some more context, okay? You continue to say that there was record unemployment. The truth is, there was record underemployment under the Trump administration. You know, he holds the record for the most underemployed workforce in American history. When you look at the U6 rate, well, you can disagree on facts all you want to, brother. It doesn't require your
facts out.
Sir, it doesn't require your agreement, but I'm going to give you exactly where you can research what I said. I always do. I want you to look at the U6 rating model. Easy to find. The U6 rating system shows that Black unemployment and underemployment was well over 20%. That Black people, while they had more direct contact with what they deemed to be technical employment under the U3 survey model, they were making less money. Not only less money because of lack of consistent work or working part-time jobs or contractual labor or labor that was seasonal. They also made less on the dollar because the Department of Justice, through a directive from President Trump, said do not go after jobs or go after corporations for active workplace discrimination. Well, what happened in that scenario? Well, you saw that Black men were making roughly 72 cents on the dollar of their white male counterparts with a similar education and experience background. Under Donald Trump, that number started going in the wrong direction. It was going in the right direction under President Obama. Here's what I would like you to explain to me, brother. If everything was so good for Black folks in America, why is it that you had a net decrease in the amount of money, household median income, that Black families brought home? How did that happen?
Okay, so let's talk about a lot of things here. A president of the United States is in the federal government. Employment status and opportunities in particular areas are not predicated on the president himself.
You just
the president, whether it's Biden, whether it's Obama, whether it's these are presidents. These are one individual. They do not have leverage in the state. They're not mayors. Trump. They're not governors. They are not creating jobs. These people, they pass policies to a certain degree that will encourage certain people in certain states to create opportunities. The presidents don't. So if you live in the state of Georgia, the governor, the mayor have policies within your state that can either improve or de-incentivize the growth of economic power in your state. Look at California and look at the implementation of laws and implementation of taxation, and look at how there are poor and homeless people out of control. And you go to some place like Florida and you look at there's no state income tax, people are flourishing, all of the above. States have a lot to do with employment and non-employment. And like I said, your statistical data, I take it at face value, but let's evaluate it. And are we adding in the pandemic as a factor of unemployment under the Trump administration?
So one, I'm not even talking about post-pandemic numbers whatsoever.
No, but you said under Trump's administration, he was the president during a global pandemic.
Brother,
when you calculate unemployment under his administration, or you calculate unemployment in the year of the pandemic, which many people, I mean, the numbers will be skewed of unemployment. The statistics show that Donald Trump had
you afraid of facts. The data that I'm citing, it actually is pre-COVID data because I wanted to be fair in the proclamation of the data.
Which years? Which years?
It stops at 2019. It stops at 2019.
No. Okay, now when you say that, how much rollover? How much rollover goes from president to president? Because you claim that Obama took office, that he inherited a bad economy from Bush, and because of the government bailout, somehow we recovered. Now, how much of Obama is dragged into the Trump administration?
You finished.
I would like for you to ask me that question. How much?
Here's the question I want to answer based on your misguided conclusion about my numbers. So let me finish giving more clarity because I care about people getting the truth. You may care about making a point. I care about them getting the truth. The numbers that I'm quoting are pre-pandemic numbers because it's unfair for me to quote numbers and include the pandemic ratio because that is a nuance that nobody could calculate. Nobody could predict that happen, even though Trump handled it horribly. I still would not include that in the mix of job data reports. So let me go to 2017, 2018, okay? You remember the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, right? You remember that. Donald Trump said that he would lead this country to a massive tax cut, that people would pay less in taxes. It would be historic. You're going to pay so little in taxes, and my friends are going to pay so much. They're not going to like me anymore. Remember that promise? I mean, Trump said that. He told you that his friends would pay more in taxes and that you and me would pay less than we've ever paid. That was the campaign promise. He even said it while he was president of the United States. The IRS collected $93 billion more from average individuals, everyday working Americans. People pay more in taxes under Trump. They could write off less things. They could take less deductions. They could take less opportunity in the taxation code. And you had a graduated effect that allowed people to, sir, I'm going to finish my point, that allowed people in business to take advantage of loopholes while regular everyday people could not. So here's the numbers. $93 billion Americans paid more in taxes during that TCJA plan. That number also coincides with the tax break that Trump did give businesses, which equated to $91 billion. So what you see is not a tax cut, it was a tax shift. Nobody paid a record lower amount. Did you pay a record low amount of taxes under Donald Trump?
Well, I have multiple corporations, so.
Did you pay a record low amount of taxes?
Well, my tax code is lower than it would be under Barack Obama, so.
What about your employees?
My what?
Your employees, did they pay the lowest amount they've ever paid before, like Trump said they would? Did that happen?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what their taxes are. I don't know what they tax. I don't know how much they pay in taxes. I don't know what they write off, so.
Okay, since 1933, the economy has grown an average of 4.6% under Democratic presidents and only 2.4% under Republicans. You call that a coincidence?
Well, let me explain this, because there's a great economist named Thomas Sowell. He explains the tax cut versus raising taxes. Now, I agree with you that when you raise taxes, more people pay into the treasury, and here's why. When you say you're gonna lower taxes and taxes appear to be reasonable to the average individual, and this is quoted from the economist Thomas Sowell, people are more willing to actually pay taxes. Companies, individuals are more willing to pay taxes. When you raise taxes, people are less willing to pay taxes. They use loopholes, and businesses completely skate on taxes. Multi-billion-dollar businesses skate on taxes. Now, here is you proving the point, and the whole one of the reasons why I came on here to talk about AOC and taxing the rich is that when you see them claim that they're gonna tax everybody this crazy percentage, you get less income into the United States Treasury. When people, conservatives, Republicans say that they're gonna lower taxes, you see people being more willing to pay taxes, and there is more taxes to the Treasury. And so the lie of saying tax the rich is a deception, because we have seen historically that people have not paid taxes under that guise and under that policy, and we see lower income into the Treasury of the United States of America. So I would agree with you that people were expecting to get breaks under President Trump, even
because he promised them.
Well, he made a promise, and I don't think that everybody felt that promise, because I know people who make millions of dollars, who've paid millions of dollars in taxes, and they didn't get a tax break, and they own major corporations.
And we're running out of time. My producer is giving me the wrap up sign. Do you think that rich people pay their fair share? This is what it's about more so than anything. Do you think they pay their fair share in taxes?
That's a nuanced question, because what is fair share? You paying 70% of taxes while another person pay 20%, and that's considered fair? I don't think so. Do rich people pay taxes in the rates that middle class do? No, they don't. They have millions of dollars to spend on, bookkeepers and all kind of stuff that they do that pay the minimum amount of taxes possible.
This is a real simple question. 80% of Americans do not believe rich people pay their fair share. Real simple question. I don't believe rich people pay their fair share. It's not a nuanced question.
Well, I know rich people that pay. I have a friend that pays $4 million in taxes. That's
based on
that's
how
more
much
taxes than anybody that you know combined.
How much does he make?
Any working class person that you know combined will pay taxes.
How much does he make?
Well, you can do the reverse math. I mean, he paid $4 million. That's more than everybody that live in the,
All right. It's about percentage model. If it's not about percentage model, it becomes a regressive. It becomes a regressive tax.
Top 1% pay all the taxes.
All right,
That's
brother.
not fair.
Brother, I'm going to bring you back because I do want you to research the numbers that I gave you and then come back so you can intellectually engage in what those numbers mean. All right? I appreciate you being on the show. No, brother, do your own research now, damn it.
No, you got to send me what you want me to.
No, man, I'm not doing that.
Respond to,
brother.
I can go back and give you stats.
Just go ahead and
hit stats from my perspective.
Watch this on YouTube and then figure out what you need to go research. All right, brother. I appreciate you being on the show.
All right.
Okay. Remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other, be good to the planet. The truth is always indisputable. And stay tuned. Reaction next.